Rodney, thank you for being on Michigan Creates today. I'm excited to talk to you and certainly excited to learn more about the Flint Institute of Music. So thank you for agreeing to be on today.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. It's always good to talk about something I'm passionate about, and it's also good to talk about community, music, what brings us together, what makes us closer. But no, and it's a beautiful day today, actually. It's starting to feel like fall.
Yeah, it is, but it's Michigan, so it could change tomorrow, right?
This is true. I'm from Colorado, and I've been here 9 years, but in Colorado, the saying was if you don't like the weather, just stick around for a half an hour. Good to talk about, but all the program we do, but also our community and what we can do collectively as a community to help build and support it. And music has always been that glue that kind of brings people together cross culturally.
Right. Well, and this program is a little extra special to me for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm a musician. Two, I have been at FIM in the past, so I've seen just the architectural beauty of what's going on, and I really do like highlighting Flint. I think in general, there's a lot creatively going on there, and so this is going to be really interesting to talk to you about. You already said you've come to Michigan by way of Colorado. Maybe give the listeners a little bit of a background on you coming to Michigan and falling into this role as CEO.
Yes, I'm a Colorado native. I went to the university system there, the regular public schools. But no, I ran an arts organization in Colorado for many years. We did a lot of concert promoting, visual arts, outdoor sculpture, community events, and I did a lot of work with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra. I've always had an affinity to orchestral music and symphony. So from that, I was asked to come out here to look at Flint in the Flint Institute of Music. They were looking for a new CEO, and a friend of mine had mentioned that there was an opportunity out there, and he knew my interest in symphonic music and the symphony
Mm.
orchestra. And he said, "Hey, they do have a symphony that's been around for over 100 years. He goes, you might want to check it out." Long story short, I was in the midst of the water crisis. I had never really been to Flint. I had done some work in Detroit as part of another career I'd had in advertising. But no, the short story is the symphony actually brought me to Flint. I mean, it was more than just the symphony because the Flint Symphony Orchestra is one of the programs of the Flint Institute of Music or FIM. But that's what my interest was, is to find out what the symphony was all about. But once I got here, I saw and knew it was just much more than that. I mean, the Flint Institute of Music is many different programs. I mean, it's the Flint Institute of Music is the School of the Performing Arts. It is the Repertory Theater. It is the Whiting Auditorium. It's the Capitol Theater, and it's all the community programs. So, short answer is, I guess the symphonic music brought me here.
Right. And then you saw all of what there was.
all
So,
the other all the other opportunities. But that was the hook, I guess, is that I was
yeah.
always interested in that, and I'd never actually run a symphony orchestra as a leader. I had always worked with them on co-promotes and other things, but so that was my interest.
So let's talk about its FIM's history. So we're gonna use the acronym because we know
Sure.
that if we keep saying Flint Institute of Music, we're gonna be on this podcast for an hour and a half. So FIM, let's talk about its history. You just sort of really quickly said there's a lot of different many facets to it, but maybe break it down a little bit, give some of the history and how it's evolved over the years.
Sure. Everybody's heard of, or they should have heard of, J. Dallas Dort. I mean, he's one of the founders of the General Motors, along with Willie Durant, and also one of the largest carriage companies. A great history with Dallas Dort, but probably one of his greatest gifts and longest lasting legacies is the Cultural Center. I mean,
Mm.
the film would not be here without J. Dallas Dort. He knew the power of music and building community. The mansion that he had, actually, it's where we are located right now on Kersley Street, used to be the Dort Mansion. Him and his wife, Nellie, they called it the Flint Chorale Union, and it was just a group that they brought people together to help community on all ages, races, religions. They got together and they sang.
Hmm.
And it was also part of during the war that brought people together even closer. From that, he created, I think, I mean, I might get the dates wrong, but it's somewhere around 1917. They created this, morphed into the Flint Community Music Association, which is the first part of where it eventually became FIM. The orchestra started around that same time. It's like in 1917. So it's put us about 108 years for an orchestra, which is incredible for a symphony orchestra, for a professional orchestra. I mean, that's one of the oldest ongoing orchestras in the country. So it grew from that. And then in the 70s, it became a school of the performing arts and we changed the name to the Flint Institute of Music. So it all started from the desire from J. Dell Stewart to bring the community together. He understood music was a way that cross-culturally, religiously, I mean, everybody enjoys music and everybody feels safe in that space. And so it all came out of that.
That's amazing. And so you mentioned earlier too, Rodney, that there's 5 different venues. Are there different components to each of these venues?
I'll start with probably the two the most people that most recognize is the Whiting Auditorium. The Whiting, now the Whiting is the home. I mean, it is now the official home of the Flint Symphony Orchestra. It is, which we're blessed. Very few orchestras have their own facility that size. It's 2,200 seats. But in that venue, it's not just the orchestra. You know, we do Broadway plays, we do
Right.
community events, we do comedy. These are national tours. When I say it is more of a presenting house. I mean, we've had, I think we had a Democratic convention there. I mean, we've done church services, but it's also so it's a community house, but it is more for presenting touring Broadway shows, comedy, dance, international dance, home of the Flint Symphony Orchestra, also community events. So that's really that lane. Capitol Theater was renovated. It's absolutely gorgeous. If people haven't seen the Capitol Theater downtown, close to $40 million was put into that, bringing it back to its original glory. It is a jewel in Detroit, in the country, really, because these Everson theaters, there's not many left. That primarily is we do, like most, it started as a movie house, vaudevillian, that sort of thing, but we do rock and roll shows, again, national tours. But it really truly is a community venue, meaning most of and we try hard to open it up to all the community, small and
Right.
large. So we'll have community events there, fundraisers. The chamber will do their annual awards, and the city will do their State of the Union. We'll have different groups in and out of there. We also have a program that we call Flint Under the Stars, which is an incredible program in that we open up the Capitol Theater to local musicians, giving them the opportunity to have a stage like the Capitol Theater that is provided. It's once a month. And it's really a platform to try to not only enrich the community, but also give musicians in our area an opportunity to grow and have that
Right.
stage. We found several opening acts have come out of that, where we found artists that had opened up for major tours. So that's that area. We have the Repertory Theater, and the Repertory Theater is a full equity producing house. And what I mean by that, it's different than a presenting, it's a producing house. It's like many repertory theaters you'd see across the country where we produce original plays, take different looks or reimagining of traditional plays. We do education work out of that. And so there's two theaters in there. There's the Bauer Theater and then there's the Algood Theater that are in the Repertory Theater. We have the Inside of the Dort Music Center, we have two different smaller, more recital areas that support the School of Performing Arts, but also the Academy. There's two theaters in this building as well, but those are again mostly for community events. It's MacArthur Hall. We present our faculty do concerts there. The school utilizes a recital hall, and it's also used as a community event. We've hosted the National Arab Orchestra has played there. The Jewish Federation just did an incredible community performance that brought some national artists from Israel. So those are the different types of actual theaters face forward. But we do a tremendous amount outside of these walls. In fact, we do community events inside of schools. We do outreach to senior citizen homes. We do music therapy in hospitals, jails.
Let's focus on that a little bit
Yeah.
because I think every third word we're hearing is community, right? And certainly with the amount of work that you've got going on, community is vital. So give me some of these partnership examples. I know when you and I initially talked to prep for this interview, we talked about some of the work that you're doing with jails too. I found that to be fascinating. You actually had a very famous singer
Yeah.
come pay a visit. Talk about the strategy behind FIM's outreach into the community.
Well, it's twofold. I mean, again, music heals, but also music entertains. Our music therapy has blossomed. I mean, we have grown our music therapy program over the last 4 years into now, I think we have three at least full-time certified music therapists that do work in hospitals, senior centers, inside the Genesee County Jail. When I say music therapy, the NICU at Hurley Hospital, these are for newborns. Music therapy from even a very, very small age to help people with trauma, if they're going through health issues, abuse. We do things at Voices. But music therapy is using music as a conduit to in healing,
Right.
and poetry comes out of that as well, lyrics and poetry. With the jails, it's part of a larger program called Ignite, and Ignite is a program that tries to stop the revolving door or help the recidivism of returning inmates by giving them skills and or outlets that they may not otherwise have. We're probably the first jail that has a full recording studio inside the jail where we teach beats, we teach avid training. So they actually learn a skill, but they also have an outlet to write music and to record this music. So it's,
Right.
you mentioned Jelly Roll. Yeah, it was inspired by Jelly Roll, the artist. He came and visited the jail, saw the different programs that were going on, and talked about recording, and that what we needed was maybe some sort of a outlet there. From that, we recreated the first recording studio. He came down 3 times. He actually did a private concert for the inmates, which was wonderful. He was the ribbon cutter on the very first go around with the recording studios. But it was a group effort. We brought a lot of other different partners into that as well. The UAW has been an incredible partner. We just opened up another recording studio in Wayne County at the new Juvenile Detention Center. In fact, our first classes are going on right now. And again, they're learning both how to lay down beats in recording, but also Avid Pro Tools on how you actually can operate as an operator and possibly have a vocation there. And of course, there's intellectual property that belong to them as well on anything.
So all of these projects that you've got going on, they've all got to get funded. And we know that funding for arts organizations can be a challenge. Talk a little bit about that, Rodney, as far as maybe the support that you get from the community. Are you partially funded, your programming funded by any, I don't know, any kind of millage because you're in Flint? Talk about some of those challenges and opportunities that you've been faced.
A big shout out and thanks to the citizens of Genesee County. We are so very fortunate to be part of the Arts, Culture, Education, Enrichment Millage that was passed and supported by the residents of Genesee County. A lot of these programs that I talk about, these free programs, and are programs that are offered to the community at low cost or no cost, discounts up to 50% for programming at the Capitol Theater and the Whiting Auditorium, is supported by a millage that was voted in by the citizens of Genesee County. We're also blessed. We have an incredible C.S. Mott Foundation here in Flint they have poured time, treasure, millions of dollars into the community, specifically in the cultural venue and the cultural center, helping to provide both infrastructure but programming for all the arts organizations, and FIM has been blessed to be part of that. But we're endowed, we have some starting from wonderful citizens have helped throughout the years. And so we have some endowments that are part of that as well. And then we have, obviously, we're a business as well. I mean, we're a nonprofit, but we also sell a tremendous amount of tickets. We have tickets to Broadway plays. We have tickets to the symphony orchestra. We have tickets to see artists like ZZ Top. Jay Leno was here. We have Kool and the Gang upcoming. So a lot of different facets. And then there's sponsorships through businesses, individual donations. This is such an incredible community in that, and I've lived in many different places in the country, and this community truly, truly cares, and they give for the right reason. They believe in their community. They believe in the arts. They believe in the healing power of the arts. They believe in the educational power of the arts. But most importantly, it's people understand there's an economic engine in the arts. When you bring 1,000, 2,000 people to the Capitol Theater or the Whiting Auditorium, they play and they stay here. They buy a ticket, they have dinner, they might stop, they gas up there, but they return. The arts, there was an economic impact study done, and millions and millions of dollars are brought back into a community through the arts and their impact on a community. So that's something that's often overlooked, but it is a tremendous engine that helps fuel and grow communities. A lot of these, when you get an area that's been redeveloped, and a lot of the times it's because of the arts. I mean, you have these districts from Soho in New York, and that was an art district. It starts as an art district, and the arts come in, and then all of a sudden, new people come in, and then you have this vibrancy, and then from there, it grows.
Such an important point, Rodney. I'm glad you made that because I think to your point, everyone, no, not everyone, a lot of people can overlook the impact arts has on a community, and especially Flint. You indicated, early on with the water crisis, several years ago, and Flint has had its share of bad publicity, but there is so much that's vibrant and that's going on in the city of Flint and in and around that community. And certainly FIM is an active part of it. So I appreciate hearing all of that for sure. And our listeners will take heed to that advice. So I hate to ask the question, what's next? And I say I hate to ask because you've got a lot going on. I don't know that there's ever a dull moment on your end, but I got to imagine you're looking into the future of doing some new and different things. Anything that you can share?
Well, we're constantly, and the FIM has undertaken a tremendous amount of growth in the last 10 years. We're probably, not probably, we're three times the size that we were. I mean, we have over 700 employees. Last year, we had over 23,000 engagements across all the programming. I mean, that's 23,000 engagements. That's anything from classrooms to concerts.
Right.
That includes 100 plus concerts we put out. That is all the community events we do out there. That translates to well over 300,000 people that we reach annually. Just continue to focus and grow the program we do, be a part of that economic engine that's going to help all boats rise with the tide. Flint has a historic, incredible history, and it was giants walked. I likened it to Simi Valley. I mean, where you have literal giants. It changed the whole
Hmm.
industrial revolution. So it's a proud, wonderful place to be, but it's had national, like lots of communities have things that happen. There's ebbs and flows in all communities. Flint, I love it, and the fact that I can go anywhere in the world and say I'm from Flint and they automatically know where it is. And
Right.
now they may not know, they know water. That's first and foremost. Oh, the water. But that gives you an opportunity to discuss, it gives you a platform as well. Right now, you can talk about all the good things, that are happening in Flint, all the great things. If you had a picture of Flint in anybody's mind versus what's here and what's on the ground, and it's such a culturally rich, vibrant community, it's night and day. So we need to utilize that, I guess, infamousy or famousy or whatever you want to put it to our benefit. Because right now, Flint probably has some of the best water in the world. All the work and the money that was put into rebuilding the infrastructure, it's an incredible community, and it does care and it does give back. And there's some incredible foundations. I mentioned the Mott Foundation, but there's some incredible people and stakeholders that truly believe in where we're going. And I'd be remiss. We do have a lot of history with the symphony. History is tracing all the way back to 1917 with J. Dallas Dort and the founding of this. We're celebrating 50 years of the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker is an incredible performance done by the School of Performing Arts with professionals. What I mean by that is it's a way for our students to hone their craft in dance, ballet, working with professionals in providing this incredible performance annually. So we're really excited about the 50 years of the Nutcracker and that incredible performance. And one of the very few organizations that have a live orchestra with that as well. So it's
That's awesome.
if you don't see anything this year, I hope you do go to our website that we have so much to offer as far as programming at both the Capitol and the Whiting.
Well, Rodney, thank you for taking the time today just to kind of share some insight into film and give actually a little bit of a good plug for the city of Flint. So appreciate what you're doing and keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Rodney. Thanks again for taking the time today.
Hey, thank you.